Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Sorry, I was just laughing. Armando, everybody I put in the new intro for the season doesn't play football this season. Ibrahimovic, Pogba, Lukaku, Dybala.
Listen, don't put any Napoli player, please.
Nah, it's a bad omen. It's a bad omen. I decided to go live because I had a really good live with Inter Worldwide with 25 people beforehand, and we've got 5 people that have tuned in here already, which is that's more. That's more than worth it, man. I'll be here for one person. I've got one of my Inter Worldwide channel members who subscribes to me every month, and that's fantastic. Ciao, Massimo. Thanks for coming in. You're going to really, really enjoy this nice little casual conversation. It's going to be a good one. Armando, first of all, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, Bello. A bit depressed to be back in this weather, but I'm great.
Yeah, you would be depressed, man. So let's focus on that for a little bit. While I've got you here, I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to have someone like you talk a little bit about what you've been up to in the last few weeks. So what's going on, man? Tell us a little bit about what we can see up on the screen here. I'm going to zoom in.
First of all, let me explain what we're going to talk about. I spent the last 4 weeks in Europe. A good part of those 4 weeks in Europe, I was there for coaching. I've been coaching an Australian team in tour in Spain. And the photo they are about to show, it's a bit of a mix of the experience that I had in Spain. And on top of that, I spent the last few days of my trip in Europe in Napoli. Went to do my Maradona tour. I went to see my family. I meet a few very important people in the scenario of football. It was one of the best trip ever. So the pitch that you see before, it's me attending a Barcelona game where they beat the record of the here that's the game where they did 84,000 supporter.
Ooh,
84,000 Sunday. They played against the last team on the ladder. They won 3-0. Lewandowski scored a goal. Very good game, but very disappointed by the atmosphere at the Camp Nou.
Well, I was about to say, what's an 84,000 crowd Camp Nou atmosphere sound like?
So, first of all, on the good side of the coin, see, these are my coaching staff. On top of us, all around the stadium, there were another 80 people. They were my football players with their relatives or their parents. We managed to buy the ticket for a game that did over 84,000 supporters over the mobile phone app the same day of the game while we were on the bus traveling towards the game. So that's something that, as you know, as an Italian Serie A team supporter, it's something that we always struggle. When we want to go to Italy, watch a game, it's like an adventure just to get some ticket. And over there in Spain, almost 90 tickets were online like that.
So it wasn't a struggle to get a ticket, man.
No, so the stadium is really bad, man. Looks really bad. I was in Tribuna, which is supposed to be the poshest side, and even the toilets were disgusting. Remind me of the old San Paolo when I used to go watch games in Curva. So, but on their defense, this is probably one of the last few games they're gonna play there. The game, the stadium is gonna be destroyed and rebuilt. I had the luxury to do the tour as well. This is me coaching in Norcia against Norcia. What an experience, guys. If you have time, go Google Norcia and you see the football complex. They have a limited number of small side synthetic pitch. They have a beautiful 15,000 seat open stadium. They have a couple of soccer pitch court as well. And then they have their main stadium with over 40,000 seat capacity. That's me coaching against them. Nice. That's in a press conference room.
This is an amateur club or second division, third division?
That's Division 3 in Spain. But the word amateur does not apply for any club that I visit in Europe. I've played against 14 different clubs. And I went from the lowest borough in Spain where the houses destroyed, the street dirty. And as you work inside the stadium, inside any complex, you got synthetic pitch, you got UEFA lights approved, you got stands. Everything is state of the art. And what's really impressive is even the juniors, they're using the official Euros ball for training. While here in Australia, when you go to clubs buy the $5-6 ball for training. They only get 2 good balls for match day. So it tells you already the difference in the culture.
Absolutely. What about this club here?
This is the club of my love. That's Torrent FC. I actually almost signed up to stay there and coach with them. That's why I took this picture with the scarf. So excited. Listen, wherever I've been in Spain, they made us feel very welcome. It's been one of the great experience. Plus, all the Catalonia, all the way to Valencia, very similar to Napoli. The people, the landscaping, the city. So for me, it was like stay home. But this club here is called Torrent FC. This is a feeder club for Valencia. That's half an hour outside Valencia, this club. So what happened is they can't do much. They have kids, and as soon Valencia like those kids, the kids going over for free almost. They're getting their equipment, they're getting help to get sponsors, but pretty much they don't manage to make money because the kids leave when they're very young.
Yeah, very well said. Another one of my channel members for Inter Worldwide, Ian Kerr. That looks like a good trip, 100%. And my other channel member,
Karen,
Massimo. Yeah.
I didn't want to flog the episode today because I got over 100 for the video. But if you wanna go check out my Instagram, I posted some very cool video of the visit at the Bernabeu and at the Camp Nou. There's a lots of other cool stuff outside behind the scene of a football tournament.
So before you answer Massimo's question, and I can see that you just subscribed to Football Worldwide as well, Massimo, thank you very much. What's the better stadium, the Bernabeu or the Camp Nou? Because I visited the Camp Nou myself in 2013. I didn't watch a game, I just visited the stadium, but it was old, I remember. What's nicer, the Bernabeu or the Camp Nou?
All right. First of all, thanks, Massimo, for, signing up with us, and I'll answer your question later on. It's hard to say because when I went to the Bernabeu, I only saw 1/3 of the Bernabeu because it was getting rebuilt.
Okay.
And while the Camp Nou is about to get demolished. To be honest, for what I saw at the Bernabeu looks way more impressive. It looks more closer. It looks like you're almost on the pitch. While the Camp Nou, especially when you go to the third row, you see this little cage behind one of the goal, which is the supporter, away supporter are sitting. I don't even know if it's worth it to be there because you can hardly see if you're that high. I was lucky because I was in Tribuna next to, the wives and the president and everybody. But nice. I was looking around, and if you're really high, top row, I don't think you can see much. While the Bernabeu gave me that impression to be like almost like a Colosseum, straight. It did not feel like going that much in open space.
And to answer Massimo's question, where do you coach at the moment, man?
I coach. I'm the head of the Blue Developer Juniors program at Moreland City. I'm also the head coach of a Real Football Institute. So this trip was done with the Real Football Institute, where I took 2 teams in tour. Answer your first question, Anthony. The atmosphere at the Camp Nou, depressing, man. I didn't even have time to film anyone singing because every time Barcelona was scoring, they singing like for 3 or 5 seconds. Time to get the mobile phone out, and they all sit down. And you could tell there is a very tourist kind of fan base.
It's a tourist club. I was about to say tourist club.
They don't even know the club song. When the club song was going on, I was singing with them the same way. Barcelona, Barca, 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 Barca. But the rest of the song, 2/3 of the stadium was not singing it. So weird atmosphere.
I think he does coach in Melbourne, Massimo. I think he might have misheard you there, bro. So Armando does coach in Melbourne.
Yeah, in Melbourne, I'm at Moreland City Football Club.
Beautiful. Is this the Bernabeu? This is the Real Madrid trophy room?
Not offense to anyone watching us, but in this trip, I think I saw more Champions League myself, the whole Serie A put together. Those are not Champions League, but I love this cabinet because everybody was lining up in front of the Champions League and no one was looking at those. So it was a perfect time to take a photo. But if you can see what kind of cup are behind me, a couple of UEFA Cup, a couple of International Cup, a couple the old what used to call the cup played with the champions of South America, the Champions League, Intercontinental Cup, This is at the Bernabeu. Bernabeu's mad. See, that's the Bernabeu again.
Beautiful. I've always wanted to check it out. You look very happy, man. I'm happy for you.
Hey, I know. You also can tell that I didn't have time to find a barbershop. I was too busy coaching.
Absolutely. And what was this photo? Last photo?
This is when the coaching trip ended, and that's when the the Maradona tour started. I was in Ischia with my wife for 3 days, short holiday together before going towards Napoli. And there was the Champions League game Ajax-Napoli on. And I got invited by the Club Napoli Ischia to watch the game with her. So it was funny because my wife organized this at Ischia so we could spend a few days. You know, there was our anniversary and everything. She ended up spending Wednesday night at the club watching the game.
Beautiful. Happy for you, man. Happy for you. All right, enough about Zil Admor. Jesus Christ, hogging my stream 10 minutes for Zil Admor, but we absolutely love it.
I love it.
We love it. Sassuolo come from behind to beat Verona 2-1 as we kick off Serie A match day 11. Sassuolo doing quite well after losing their strike power this season in Scamacca and Raspadori. But more importantly, we could go into next season without a team in Verona at all in Serie A because they look crap. Chievo are never going to come back, and Hellas Verona look absolutely awful at the moment. Sassuolo come back to win 2-1. It's looking very bleak for Verona, and you know what? They're going to actually struggle this season to stay up. Whether or not they want to keep switching managers or not, I actually don't think it's going to save this club whatsoever. Sampdoria finally got their first win of their season under Dejan Stankovic, who I obviously have a soft spot for, about time as well. They defeated Cremonese by 1-0 with their goalkeeper Altero having a very, very good game. I've always thought he was a good goalkeeper, to be honest, and I like to see him do quite well. Sampdoria, they're going to struggle this season, obviously, to stay up. You know, they might be the worst, besides Verona, of the teams that weren't promoted last season of Serie A. But, you know, you expect them to do, you know, at least do enough to survive this season. Armando, in 30 seconds or less, what do you make of the sides like, you know, your Verona, Sampdoria, Bologna, who we're not even going to talk about in this video? They're going to struggle.
No, if I just want to touch on Verona, it's funny because we said it before at the start of before the season started, when we start talking about our prediction, that Verona was not looking promising, losing the coach and a few players. Then the season started, and I think in the first few, we managed to do a couple of episodes, did we? That we were surprised, or we chatted privately that Verona was doing good, and then they just stopped it. Listen, you mentioned, I think even some Salernitana looks better at those sides right now. You know, so, and Salernitana was given not even time to build the team. You know, the summer was really busy changing owner and everything. So, you know, Monza looks so much better than them.
Yeah. So I think Salernitana are still just really coasting on the high, like the amazing way that they finished last season. The momentum they had, they would be thinking, well, if we could come back from being 9 to 11 points off safety and still survive, there's no reason why we can't go hard in the first half of the season in Serie A this time and survive in the end.
Exactly. So these teams here, you know, they cannot stay up only because their name is historically linked to Serie A. We had so many in the past. Look at my own team, Napoli. Before we went bankrupt, anyway, we were going up and down Serie A, Serie B. We had some very bad times. So the name means nothing, you know. And you know what's scary? That all these clubs that you mentioned, I think all of them, they go really weird forester ownership, or they got some kind of weird ownership going on anyway. So it tells you that also not all the new investment they come across could be wise investment, you know, especially this cheap overseas investor.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for coming into the video, Emiliano. I see you. We've got 11 live viewers right now. That's why I decided to switch this one to a live one tonight. Very, very nice. Before we go to Napoli, Roma, I've got to keep saying, man, because I've been saying from the start of this season, Lazio play the best football in Serie A, except for Napoli. The second best performing side on the pitch this season is Lazio. It won't be any surprise to Armor, who's had Maurizio Sarri as a manager before. Do you think Lazio can break someone's heart this season and sneak a top 4 spot, maybe ahead of the likes of Juve or Inter? Because I've been saying it from the start of the season, man. Sarrismo ball is very much real because these players on the pitch for Lazio, they're not world class. They're not world beaters. Don't look at me in the eye and tell me Romagnoli is a world-class centre-back. Don't tell me Mattias Vecino is a world-class box-to-box. They're not, but they seem to be ticking the exact same way that Sarri wants them to tick. And to go to Bergamo and win 2-0, I'm impressed. Zaccagni also looks like a reborn. He's just very good.
I give you a nice little thing about Lazio. I think I mentioned to you in a private message. The last time Lazio considered a goal was the 2-1 defeat against Napoli in September. I think the first week of September. They have conceded 0 goals since. So you're definitely going to give them credit.
Yeah. They just
in
good.
Serie A, I'm talking about Serie A. In Europe,
Yeah.
they consider goal, just in case we got some viewers that's really picky.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian
It
agrees.
definitely
solid.
the way the other teams are going, it's not just Lazio having a very good season and knowing Sarri, that's the way he will play the whole season. The only thing is, is he gonna make the same mistake that he made in Napoli, utilizing always the same 11 and get towards the end of the season and they blow up? Now, if he can build enough points and blow up towards the end and still be top 4, that would be great. Of course, that's not a kind of mentality you want to go if you want to go for the title. You need to use more than 11 players.
Of course. I don't think anyone's expecting them to challenge for the league, but if they were to get a top 4 spot this season, considering how competitive Serie A is, it would be considered a fantastic accomplishment for them. All right, the train keeps on rolling. You're making one Jesus look like bloody Thiago Silva 10 years ago. It's incredible. Talk to us, Armando. You must be very, very happy, man. I know you're the type of Napoli fan that, you'll be happy when you guys mathematically secure top 4. I know that was your thing last season, but as the games go on, Armando, it's going to be harder for you to deny the fact that you got to go for the gold here,
Listen,
man.
I'm telling you exactly the way I see it. And I don't understand. A lot of people keep saying, oh, why you guys are so happy? You guys are celebrating. The title is won in May, blah, 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 blah. I'm not celebrating any title. But I have to be honest, I'm celebrating, first of all, if you remember, the month of August, a good slice of fans were against the club. It was everybody blaming the president, everybody blamed the Mercato, everybody crying for Insigne, for Fabian. Yep. And I was here on this show telling everybody I'm so happy what Napoli is doing. I think Napoli will do great. I think this new science is going to be fresh. I think Insigne and Fabian Ruiz were a weight for us. They were not extra players. I always said that Insigne was an overrated. You can go through 1,000 of episodes of this show where I'm saying so. So what I'm happy about, again that football proved that only few people understand football. A lot of people like to talk about. Everybody thinks to know about. So I'm happy that I was right. I'm happy that Napoli is at the moment, right now, as of today, is a team that no one wants to face because it's an impossible team to face right now. Now, form and injury free, then we can start talking about the title. But we are in October. There is a 2 months off, and then the new season starts in January again. It will finish in June.
With a World Cup in between.
So anyone that talks about title or winning anything, it's just either a delusional or just doesn't know football. Because, and that's not just for Napoli, anything, Yeah. Right now, at the moment, is the best team in Serie A. Right now, take players individually, are probably the best players per role in Serie A, give it or take it. Not all 22, you know what I mean? Yeah. But Kravachevskla, number 77. Can you find anything negative about him? No. Does he play any bad game? He's unstoppable. But we start showing him at the end of August, and we are at the end of October. So if that's the way he is, like the whole season, then it will be the next crack. Kim, the center back, it's a wall. He's been performing way better than Koulibaly. But I cannot judge a player in 3 or 4 months. Mario Rui, since Insigne is not there anymore, he's become the new Roberto Carlos. The way he crossed those balls, unbelievable. Because finally he can hit the line and he can cross the ball. Finally, when he overlap, he gets served the ball. Instead, Insigne used to cut inside and try to tira giro, go back to the goalkeeper. So there's been a lots of things so far. They've been great. But we don't know if they're going to last. If that's the real Napoli, if that's just a matter of form. What I really like is that in the World Cup, we're only going to send 6 or 7 players. And I can see by the national team they play for that they're going to be back home after 3 games. So what everybody always said that Spalletti has the bad December and he dropped the form at the end of the season. Then this year, December, we're not going to play. Yeah. Which is already a plus. And second, Spalletti can do the preseason again. So maybe
Maybe. What did you
You know,
think of the Karsdorp red card at the end of the game? Very much an overreaction. I can't remember the last time I've seen a player staunch the referee like that before.
sorry, wrong side. I was trying to
Oh,
put myself in the center. You know what? I didn't like it. I did not like it. The Mourinho words at the end of the game. I did not like the attitude. What I noticed this year so far, which is weird, every time we beat a team, and now to be honest, we didn't just beat a team. Napoli beat Liverpool in England. Napoli beat Glasgow in England. Ajax at home and in England. We gave him 10 goals in 2 games. Liverpool gave him 4 goals. We won at San Siro with Milan. We won at Roma with Lazio. Roma with Roma. You know, we beating some top teams. And every single time a coach does an interview post-game against Napoli, we did not deserve to lose. You know, Napoli did nothing special. No, I don't know if these people watch the games because it's not me as a Napoli fan, but you've been watching Napoli playing. Can you tell me any game that Napoli don't deserve to win?
I can't remember one, but that's just Mourinho doing Mourinho things.
But
I know that him and Spalletti are friends, and he still had to run his mouth after the game.
But even the guy from Cremonese said so. You know, all these coaches that we beaten. So I feel like it. All right, don't want to give us credit. Don't give us credit. We don't need it, but we're having fun right now. Look, you know, this game was exactly a proving game of what I was saying before. Right now, Napoli is a team that you cannot face it because it doesn't matter what you try to do. See, he blocked us. They parked the bus, ultra defensive. Napoli always struggle against team that ultra defensive. Remember the last year and the year before?
Yeah.
But this year we got such a variety of players.
Yeah.
And it's not just 1 or 2 players that can make the difference. Because last year we had Mertens, but if Mertens was off, we didn't have anyone. Right now, we have Osimhen, we have Cravacella, we have Lozano, even Politano. Then on the bench, you have Simeone, my little boy. He's making me really proud. And you remember, once again, I've always been a big fan of Simeone, even when it was at Verona or Cagliari. You know, Raspadori, which is for me, it shocked me because I was not a big fan, if you remember that too. You know, then Lobotka. Anybody can make a difference in this Napoli right now. So once again, it's all come down to the form. We keep this form. I don't think it's going to be any discussion coming 6-7 months' times.
Yeah, well said, man. And we look forward to having that discussion with you when it rolls around. The other impressive team in Serie A, no doubtedly, is Milan. We're all still very impressed at the fact that they were able to sort of win the Scudetto last season in silence. That's what I call it. They worked very, very hard in the background. And, you know, Brahim Diaz is playing like a number 10. Should play. He carries the ball exceptionally well, ball close to the feet, makes decisions at the exact right millisecond when he sees the defender make a move. Brahim Diaz, I think, is a very, very good player. Armando, would you say besides Napoli, Milan are playing the best football in Serie A, and do you expect them to pretty much lead the way until the end of the season? And I wanted to ask you another side question as well. Rafael Leao hasn't signed a contract extension yet. Do you think he's the next big man to walk away from Serie A for a bigger contract?
Yeah, that's a lots of things to remember to answer. No, Diaz has been playing really well. I watched a few games, including the one against Napoli. Milan did, you know, we said last year, at the end of the day, they deserve it because they were the constant one. They were the one that believed it, and they were the clean one mentally. Also, it was Pioli second here. Yeah. Conte won his Scudetto after 2 years at Inter, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is Spalletti second at Napoli. Let's hope so. No, jokes aside, none of us give credit to them at the start of the season, and they end up winning the title, and they deserve it to win the title. Let's see this year. This year it's up to them to confirm. They are a really team full of potential champions, so they won because they were the best side. Or if this year they don't finish top 2, that means you know, it was like when Italy won Euro or when Manchester won the Premier League, just a one-off. I truly believe they will be fighting for the title until the end. I got this view about Milan. Lots of other people think that there was a one-off. Time will tell. The only thing I don't like about Milan is the attacking line. They don't have a proper forward.
They're very heavily reliant on Rafael Leao's brilliance on the left-hand side to beat the defender, cut in, and either provide the assist or make the finish, which is very good at.
Exactly. So, And I don't know what happened with Ibra, if he end up retiring or not. I lost track of him.
He's just
Giroud's been great, but he's got his age. How many games can he play? So this is on the question mark ago. But this is where the question mark everybody had last year. They end up winning, so I can't see why not doing it again.
Yeah. Well,
remember, it's a weird season this season. It's breaking 2 halves. Now, last question was about Leao. Guys, I don't understand how many times I'm going to repeat this. The market is finished. It's changed. You will see 90% of the player leaving on a free transfer. No one will sign renewal anymore because at the end of the 5 years contract, they're going to go away and get paid double. And the manager is going to get a big bonus. So a club, instead to spend $100 million to buy Leao, will spend 50 because we give 40 to him, 10 a year for 4 years, and 10 to the manager. Still save 50. I'm saying numbers just to give you an example. So don't blame.
I'm worried the same. I'm worried the same thing's going to happen with Inter and Skriniar when it comes down to renewal.
But Anthony, the worst thing is the fans. I blame the club. The club could have done. No, we don't know. Maybe AC Milan has been trying to offer him a renewal for the last 6 months, and he doesn't sign. He doesn't like it. Doesn't accept it. What are they gonna do? You cannot force supply. When people says, they should have think about before. When? Yeah. You still got somebody on 5 years contract. You're gonna start talking about renewal after 3 years, 2 years and a half. Plus, don't forget that Leao, until the start of last season, it was a question mark. A lot of Milan fans didn't even want him.
Yeah, you're right.
So why is Milan supposed to give him a renewal last year? It just exploded in the last season and brought AC Milan to win Scudetto. So it's not like Leao has been Leao for the last 5 years and AC Milan has been wasting times. What are they going to do? They, But that's going to be the same for everyone.
100%. Let's talk a little bit about Juve. 4 goals against Empoli, but Juve have got a fair few players in their team that look to be playing for either contract extensions or for sales away, one being McKennie, the other one being Rabiot. I'm not convinced that Allegri can turn this ship around. I thought he would have turned it around in the first season. The more that I see them grind out results against smaller opposition, the more that I think that they are just destined to have another very average season. And there's also the news that broke this morning that the Turin prosecutor has confirmed that 16 Juventus directors are under investigation for false accounting and false communications to the market, including Nedved and Arrivabene. Let's just keep it at football, though, for now, because we could go on about everything else for a while. How do you see them picking up form towards the rest of Serie A, considering that, I don't want to say it too early, but, they need to beat Benfica in Portugal tomorrow to survive in Champions League, let alone go through to the next round. They might be playing Europa League football for the rest of this season. Maybe they just want to focus on Italy.
First of all, I put them as a top 3 or top 2 at the start of the season when we did the prediction. Anyway, I said
because of their mercato, the Di Maria, Pogba.
Yeah, so I was, and also because I gave a lot of credit to Allegri. If you remember, I was hoping that Allegri would sign up with Napoli before Spalletti, and I'm happy that I was wrong. Allegri's become a big disappointment, like Mourinho. Those kind of coaches, they want to live on what they did in the past. They don't want a renewal. Football has changed. Football is not about kicking long ball to the number 9 anymore, ultra defending, countering attack. Football is about direct ball, quick transition, attack, pressure, numbers in the penalty box, and ugly football does not work anymore. I watched 3 games of Juventus. One while I was in Europe was easy. It was a good time to watch lots of games. I watched the derby. The derby. I think they end up winning anyway.
1-0 to
and I watched another cup, and I watched a couple of draw, I think. And I'm telling you, every time I watch a Juve game, it's the ugliest game that I watched so far. Ugly. Like, if I was a Juve fan, I would try. I would not go to watch games anymore. It was so bad, so boring. Those lateral ball, back and forth, no ideas. It didn't really show anything that the coach have given to them. Still, looking at Serie A, I still don't cut them out. At the end of the day, they're 10 points behind the first spot, but only 3 points behind Roma, correct?
Yeah, I think so. It's very tight. It's still very tight.
It's tight. And Juventus got the names. the story, the capacity to come back. So I would not, once again, with such a big break, what Juventus did really bad, now it's easy to say, it's going with all these old players that end up being prone injury. I think Di Maria is milking it. He's using Juventus to get to the World Cup. I don't even know if Juventus is going to have Di Maria when he come back from the World Cup, because, I'm a big Di Maria fan. When I signed up with Juventus, I said, that's a gun. It's going to make a difference. But the way he's been acting, injury, come back from injury, send off, 3 games off, come back, does another stupid things, and then injury again. It's like he's milking it. And what worries me, a lot of those players that are probably at the last World Cup in their career, I don't think I think we're going to start very soon see them pulling their legs in.
Yeah. Oh, he's not the only one doing it, right? I think Romelu Lukaku is doing the same thing to Inter.
Yeah,
exactly. I think he's doing the exact same thing.
We're talking about Juventus. That's why I mentioned Juventus. But it's something you're going to see all around. That's why I don't like this World Cup also in the middle.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Porca miseria. Talk about a heart attack, man. Inter 3-4 winners in Florence. It was absolutely brutal to watch first thing in the morning. Up 2-0 after 14 minutes. And the only positives I can take from this game is, even though I said in my earlier video on Inter Worldwide, I don't consider them world-class on the grand stage of football, but I do think Nico Barella and Lautaro Martinez are starting to show that they are in the best tier of Serie A players. They're up there with the better players in Serie A, and I was really enjoying them. Nico Barella has 5 goals from midfield this season, breaking his record. And when Lautaro Martinez is hot, he's very hot, and he could be a key to Argentina going deep into this World Cup. So I speak a lot about Inter, and I just wanted to throw it straight over to Zio Anmo. What do you think of us, sort of making a little bit of a better run in the last maybe 4 to 6 weeks that we were before? And do you think Inter can stay competitive towards the end of the season? And more importantly, my bro, if I can ask one more question, we've got a chance to make it through the group of death in the Champions League this week at the expense of Barcelona, because I'm sure, as you know, we got the better of them over 2 legs, which was nice to see.
Anthony, you have to, because that takes Barcelona away from the chance to Napoli to face Barcelona. Because, as you know, we already qualified for the first time in history.
And we know that Napoli and Barcelona, if they're in the same pot together, it's like a magnet,
Exactly.
Napoli,
so, please. And we normally end up losing, even if we play with the worst Barcelona of the century. On that day, against us, they go back to the Guardiola style. So please get rid of them, guys. I think all the Italian teams that are in Champions League and I got chance to qualify should hope for Inter to kick out Barcelona. That way, you don't get Inter, you don't get Barcelona, which is a good thing.
I know you like Argentina. What do you think about Lautaro?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I don't understand Lautaro Martinez. He tricks me too many times. Every time he almost convinced me that he's the man of the deal, he disappears. I don't
Join the club, bro. Join the whole fan base.
I know. 1 month ago, Lautaro Martinez, another flock again. But now, is he doing it because he wants a spot in the national team? Let's hope so, because I don't want Simeone to go to the World Cup. So we need him to go. No, listen, I think reality on Martinez is probably that's the way he is. When he's on fire, it's unstoppable. But he goes missing for a small time here, small time there. It's something that happens so often that probably that's what he is. He is that way. Nothing wrong. At least he's going to come back. When he go flat, you just need to wait until he goes on fire again. Barella, I also use the same discussion that we see with the players. They pull their legs back. If you notice, most of the Italian players, they're doing very good. They got no World Cup. They got not thinking about anything. They go full on. And they also know that in 4 weeks, they can go in holiday, they can recharge. So they can give all they want.
Yeah.
Think about mentally, this break in the middle for players that are going to go and players that are not going to go. You put yourself in both shoes. Try, and you will see yourself already with different motivation.
Yeah. What about the last question for Inter? Bruno says, will new owners at Inter change your perspective on the prospects, seeing as though we've been shackled by, the Chinese ensuing ownership for a long time?
I didn't want to touch outside field things with Juventus and with Inter, but now that you ask, listen, once again, who's going to come in? what's his intention? You know, who
The
knows?
grass isn't always greener on the other side, is it?
We just mentioned those clubs. They went from Sampdoria went from Ferrero to the Americans, and they're gonna. And Ferrero was one of the worst presidents a club could ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're still thinking keeping them in Serie A. So I don't know. I'm glad that I got De Laurentiis. I got accused in summer that I was pro De Laurentiis. I'll be always pro somebody that's is managing to take a club like Napoli with almost zero profit and be also auto-sustainable. You know, at the end of the day, we've been up there all the time.
Yeah, I like what Bruno says here. Will the World Cup create a spending frenzy in Europe? I think it will, and I kept this slide up for a reason. Like, the World Cup is where you get the real inflation for the players, and it might be the last time ever, as Armando's alluding to, that players might go for a transfer fee. It's a very lucky coincidence that the World Cup comes at a time where players are running down their contracts and the whole dynamics of the mercato and the transfer market are changing overseas. This might be the last dig at clubs buying players. You know, it's the sort of World Cup where, let's say Lautaro Martinez scores 3 or 4 goals for Argentina and hugs Messi 3 times. His market value is now 100 million at the end of the market, and Inter might want to cash in. You know, we've all seen the prices that players go for after the World Cup. It's stupid. Do you think that the World Cup will create a spending frenzy in Europe this time around?
Put this way, you know, you said Lautaro Martinez. Let's go back to what's his name from AC Milan, Mannaggia.
The one, well, let's just
Leao. Sorry, I had a brain freeze. Let's say Leao. I think Leao's got after this season 1 more season with Milan. Okay. Or any players in those conditions, they had a 1.5 years left, and a club comes and splash you some money. You're gonna sell it because otherwise you're losing for free. So I don't know. I would, like I said, football unfortunately has changed, and unless the ICA, which I think will do, because FIFA is losing more and more power, and the ICA is gaining more and more power. The ICA is the club union, in other words, and presidents start pushing really hard to put some limitation to the agents. And I think one thing they need to start working on, and they were doing already, going back at the of trying to find a compromise law of the pre-Bosman law, because football players cannot be compared to a normal employees, simply because when you go work for your new employee, it does not pay you. It does not pay the old employee to go across. So there needs to be a law that protect the clubs that spend 100 million to buy players, not to lose him for free in 5 years' time. There must be some minimum cap, some percentage, something will happen. Like already started with the players going to the World Cup or play for the national team. I know it's just a little step, but as you know, since this year, every federation will have to pay, I think, €1,500 per day or something like that. We share it for any players that leaves his team to go to do the national team, to do the pre-World Cup and the World Cup.
Yeah.
And eventually the national team is going to be postponed in 1 month only, like the African Cup, maybe all in January, all in June. And that's it, because club are putting too much money. And right now, club are the only one they're losing. You know, the clubs, the president are the only one they're losing right now.
Yeah.
100%. In football, the clubs and the president are the only one that always lose.
Yeah. Well, they're the ones that have to give the most. They've got the most to lose.
FIFA takes all the money for sponsorship and then leave peanuts to the clubs.
Yeah.
Agents dictated players how much, how long, and they take a cut. Players decide not to renew and leave and get more money. You know. Yeah. So the only entity in football right now is in losing games. The president at the club. So, and the clubs are the one that put the money. So something needs to change. They need to be protected.
For sure. Last thing, Torino beat Udinese away from home. Good win for Torino. Every season, there's one team that starts really, really fast out of the gates, but you know they're going to bust eventually, and that's got to be Udinese for this season. I think that they play good football, and I think that they will continue to play good football, but definitely not riding them on a top 4 train or a high horse at all. Looking at the ladder after match day 11, we've got Napoli obviously on top. 3 points ahead of Milan, Lazio, and Atalanta make up the top 4. Roma, Udinese, Inter, and Juve make up the rest of the European spots, with Sassuolo, Torino, and Salernitana still doing okay. Empoli can feel pretty confident at the moment, but in my opinion, from there on down, it's going to be a slugfest to the end of the season. You're going to see this ladder change a lot, so we're not going to talk about it too much. There were a few teams and a couple of games that we didn't cross on this particular video, but we'll go back to them later on in the season. Armando, any final comments on Serie A or anything before we head off in peace, my friend?
No, guys, just enjoy the moment for anyone. Don't think about what's going to happen in June, because June is so far.
Long time.
So far. So, a team that is 20 points behind might win the league. A team that is on top might be relegated. Everything depends. Imagine you lose 3 or 4 your key players from injury from the World Cup.
Yeah.
Anything
the season's
can
over. Your season could be over
after
the World Cup. Yeah, just by looking at your squad. Exactly right. Zio, it was an absolute pleasure to have you back on the channel again. Thanks for coming by, man.
Thank you, and thanks for everybody for watching, and thanks for all those questions, guys.
It was beautiful. We had a high of 12 people here. Thank you to everyone who stuck around after my Inter Worldwide live that I did before. If you are new to the Football Worldwide platform, make sure you subscribe before you leave, and I'll be back with more Serie A content next week and the week after and all the weeks after that. Grazie, Zio. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Ciao.